Get him a second to come back.
All right, good evening, Keepers of the Cash. Gary B., the Casual Comic Guy here. We're here with a special stream tonight, guys. I got a few special guests with me. I have John's Comics with Kids. Good evening, John.
Hello.
We have Robert, the G-Man himself.
Hello.
We had Gore Vidal, who's having some technical difficulties. He'll be back in a second. But what we wanted to start out with tonight is the three of us and most of you in the community have a good friend out there who's in need, and that is Comics Will Break Your Heart, Jennifer. The link to her GoFundMe is in the description. And I know that these guys will speak to it as well. Jen's got one of the biggest hearts in the community, one of the nicest, most genuine people, very knowledgeable, an absolute passion for comics, and battling cancer right now. So if you can donate $1, donate $1. If you can donate more, donate more. If you can only share the streams and the links, then just share the streams and the links. Anything helps. And it's just right. Someone that has been vital and important to this community. Someone who took a chance on my shows when I was still new and starting out, and not only came on and was a guest on my shows, but also came back as a co-host a few times too.
Mine too.
To help out, right? Because I reached out to Jen a few times. It's like, Jen, I have this guest on tonight. I'd like her to not be the only female on the stream. Give her a little bit of comfort, and just like, I'll be there and just jump right on and go with it. And but literally one of the nicest people you can meet. It's not hyperbole. It's not fluffing anything up. Jen is as genuine a person as you can find.
She's like a sister to me.
Yeah, she is just phenomenal. So if you guys have but a moment, check out Bueller's channel, his original video. He's got a playlist with all the links to all the other videos. And if you can share anything or donate at all, it's all appreciated. And of course, we need to say hi to Gore, who just joined us. And guys, this kindness stream is happening because of Gore, because Gore sent a nice email with a big act of kindness in it. And Gore, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Well, I hope you can hear me without sounding. How does it sound?
You sound perfect now. The reboot did it.
Okay. Actually, what happened was, Gary, you had sent me 2 links. I clicked on the link you sent me today, and that's what caused the robotic. I went to the link you sent me a few days ago, and I clicked on that one. And that one is the one we're on here. So I don't know if there's a difference between the two.
Yeah,
it's
good.
One of them's got a gremlin on it.
Apparently, yes. I blame Brian K. Vaughan. Obviously. So,
well, before we start talking, we'll say hi to our chat real quick.
Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody.
Oh, how can I not have the guy who sent the email that spawned this idea? Come on. Yeah. And plus, any excuse to have a stream with the great Gore Vidal comics. Always a pleasure. Again, we're here for positivity and kindness. That's and right. We're starting out with a great one right here with Ruby Guzman, Ruby G. Always a supporter, always doing great things in the community, always floating everybody's ship in the harbor. He's just a great guy. And, of course, one of the best supporters in the community.
Look, Cruces.
James, good evening, sir. We had John popping in to say hello to everybody. We have Paul from Psychedelic Comics, another great community supporter. We have the Jackson Roykirk, one of the most knowledgeable people in our communities. Agreed. And when Jackson's in the chat, and there's times I'm looking to him for some info that I don't have, and he always supplies it. Jackson has got wisdom to spare. And then we got TJ Slabjagging Watson. Good evening, sir. Nice to see you.
Yay, TJ is definitely going to be coming up tonight talking about people who basically are the epitome of kindness.
That's a new person for me, so there we go. I get to meet someone new.
That's be impressed.
And that's the thing with this community too, right? You're always you never know everybody. You're always meeting new people. Some people are like, what do you mean you don't know them? They have this, that. And I'm like, first time I've come across them. You know, like I just had Big Herm on for the first time ever, and that's the first time I met him.
Yeah, I appreciate it when TJ commented on. I think he's only commented on 1 or 2 of my videos. Yeah, I wasn't sure if he watched my videos. I did a video on the Phantom, and he commented on it.
I get excited when he gives me a like.
Yeah, it's really nice.
He's always watching. He's always lurking. You never know if you say his name like Beetlejuice, he does tend to show up.
Yeah.
And it's well, and talking about it. So this whole thing, gents, just so we know how it got started. You know, when you get into the community, you do meet some great people that help you along. One of those great people I was fortunate enough to meet, besides you, Robert, and besides John, was Gore Vidal. You know, and you know, we're not using his real name. I'm not sure if he wants to, but Gore Vidal Comics over here just started popping up in my streams, leaving comments, and not just comments. Gore leaves thoughtful, well thought out, well structured comments. Comments of substance, and you notice his comments a lot of times above other comments. But not only that, you know, obviously he's got a supreme intellect, but once you get to meet him, he's also one of the nicest people you can meet. Gore is very giving, very kind, very supportive, and again, just another person with a big knowledge base. So one of my great pleasures on YouTube, Gore, has been becoming your friend. So I just want to say thank you.
No, thank you, Gary. No, and likewise with you and with John and of course with Robert. I mean, all of you know me, I guess personally, even though we've never met.
Yep.
And
but that's going to happen. That's going to happen, Gore. We are going to meet.
I do believe you. That is. And I like Rob. Robert's always the eternal optimist, and I like that. And I think all 3 of you have that in common. And I think all 3 of you are optimistic, and you're more than I am. And but it's refreshing on YouTube, on comics, in comics, particularly in our little world, that the 3 of you are actually quite frankly quite important to this community, and because the way you treat others, and I don't think I'm exaggerating this. People who are watching this, they've known you for a long time, all 3 of you, longer than they've known me. And is you judge people by their actions, right? Not by what they say, but how they act. And I think the 3 of you, no one can say in the years that I've been on anything negative about you. One, I've never heard anything negative. And regarding your characters of all 3 of you, well, regarding the character of all 3 of you, if someone did, I would question what they said. That's how well your characters, in my opinion, are established. Just on YouTube, that's how I know you all, and in our private conversations on email. And I would question if someone did question your characters, each one of you, and I would say, well, I'll just leave it at that. That's how well respected I think the 3 of you are.
Thank you, Gore. Thank you.
It would just mean that I wasn't paid up with somebody at the right
time.
Right. And I was gonna get to Robert next. Robert was one of the first supporters of my channel, so thank you for that, Robert. And he was also one of the first people to have me guest on his show. Back when he had it really late at night.
Yep, midnight.
And you know, I had to stay up for it. Had a lot of fun on it.
You're an awesome guest, buddy. You were awesome.
And then John, I got to know John through Varangian Vigilante and Puff, Sean over there. Because I always saw you in their chat. I'm like, who's this joker? You know, that like through Varangian and you know, through Thorson and through Sean, I reached out to you and invited you on the show. And you know, John's one of those guys you're instantly endeared to him as soon as you meet him, right? And he comes on the show. And then not only did he come on the show, he's kind of a half staple of my channel now because he comes on quite a bit. He does a lot on my channel.
That's because people can't get me to leave.
So I don't have to do homework, and he runs with it. He's very good like that.
Cliff and I definitely share notes so that we don't have to do all the homework, one of us.
Right. And one of the things I wanted to touch on tonight, for me, from my point, and all you guys can speak to, don't let me run away with it because my mouth will never stop. Jackson will tell you. But one of the reasons for this is since I've been on YouTube since 2019, my channel has a constant rotation of co-hosts and guests, all people that don't have to spend time on my channel. All people that are just told one rule when they come on, you're not going to be asked anything you don't want to ask. If there's something that's off limits, let me know. I'll make sure nobody asks it. And we don't speak ill of others. So those are the only rules I have on my channel, right? So people come on, they've been gracious, they've been kind. People like we were talking about earlier, Jen. I've had all of you on my channel. And,
you're the first person ever to interview me. So.
Oh wow! Really?
First, yes.
Wow.
I was a nervous wreck that day. It's weird being on the opposite end,
It is, because I'm so used to people say hosting's hard. I find hosting easier than being the guest.
Yes.
Wow. So true.
I have a few people. I get so nervous when I'm the host.
You're controlling everything on the top, so you can kind of boom,
right?
boom, boom.
I'm like, I'll host all the time. That's easy. Yeah. Being the guest is the hard part.
Yeah,
see? Yeah, you get it.
But I mean, people tear their collections apart to come on my show. You got to put them all back together. And people come on and they do some deep sharing, especially on some of the 10-1-1s when they get some really personal books that come from loved ones or past loved ones. They do another great person that I met in this community and who's helped me out personally, a few people that that are top tier in this section, right? Is we have, I've met Matt Woods a few times, who's come up to visit me a couple times. I've met Anachronic Comics, Jerry the Jitterbug, although nobody knows it, has been pivotal in a few things that he's done for me.
I want to meet that mad scientist. Jerry
is as genuine a guy as you can talk to and meet, and I consider him a true friend, even though we don't live next to each other. But people like him, Joe, and you hear me pick on him all the time. Nick's Kicks and Comics, but one of the biggest supporters in our community. And Nick, people don't realize that when I did the Grow Together initiative, that when I first started that. Nick is the first one that kicked off doing a follow-up Grow Together, and he had reached out and asked if he could do a video, and I'm like, yeah. And that concept had never came to me after Nick did it, and then it started to spread. And again, here's another great Bennett helped my channel out tons. Marcus Circumstances. He's been on my channel a lot. Whenever I've asked him to co-host, he's come on. He's been a great guest a lot of times, and just another guy with a lot of knowledge about the things he knows about, and always has the comic community's back. But let's enough about. I'll speak again some more, but I just wanted to touch base on the importance to me on my channel of the revolving door I have, where everyone knows they're welcome. No one's scared to come on my channel. Everyone knows they'll be treated with respect. They all come on and they treat me and everyone else with respect. And so many people have got to know each other through being on those shows, like the 10-1-1 and In the Hot Seat. People that I've never met, they meet on that show, and then they follow each other. Then they become friends, and that's why I always have a rotation. That's why I'm always asking new people on. But let's. If anyone else wants to talk,
I just wanted to hear about this email because I don't know that I've heard. I want to know what was the email that that Gore sent. Where did this begin?
Go ahead, Gore.
Well, the thing is, I thought I sent it to you, John. Maybe I didn't include you. I guess the people that are watching, they know that I don't have Instagram. They know that I don't have tweets. I don't have Facebook. I have nothing against those. But I just find them as distractions, right? And so I just use email. And they also know that I have a flip phone. I don't have an iPhone. And although two of my friends have given me iPhones because they can't accept the fact that I don't have an iPhone. I use the iPhone to make videos, but I don't use them. Yeah. In any event, so whenever I send articles that I see, videos that I see that I find interesting, and maybe others might find interesting, I'll send this mass email, right? Or if it's something that's selective, something that say John might like, I just send it to John. Something Gary might like, I just send it to Gary. Something Robert might like, I send it to Robert, and such. And so I sent one from Steve Hartman. Steve Hartman is from CBS. He's been there for about 20 years. He's got a program called On the Road, and where he just travels around the United States, meeting people who do kind things towards others. And it's just a fascinating, he's done incredible stories. And the one that I sent actually has a follow-up, Gary, because that I sent it to somebody who shared a story with me. Basically, what it was a story about I think it was one about a bus driver, and I forget. I think it was Minneapolis.
Yeah, it was Minneapolis.
You right, Minneapolis. Okay, and it was very hot, and she was driving her bus, and she sees a woman in the middle of the road, and she noticed, and it was extremely hot. It was summertime. And the woman had no shoes, and she's waiting for the bus. So she stops the bus. The woman gets on board, onto the bus, and she does notice the woman has no shoes, not even any socks on. And she feels for this woman because it's extremely hot. Now she made the assumption that this woman might be homeless, based on her appearance. So when the woman asked for a stop, she stopped the bus, and the woman got off the bus. But before she got off, though, the bus driver, even though she knew it might mean that she might get in trouble with her job, she took off her shoes and gave them to this woman. And because she couldn't accept the fact that she was going to go back into this street, into these blazing sidewalks, barefoot. The woman didn't want to accept them, but she took them. And the bus driver knew she was risking her job. Now, we know this because there was cameras in the bus. And that's how we know about the story, in part. But the story doesn't end there. There was a woman on the bus who saw this. And the woman on the bus herself was interviewed. And she said that this moved her a lot. Why? Because she herself at one time had been homeless. And she knows how people see and treat the homeless.
Yep.
And to see the bus driver go out of her way to help this stranger in this way moved her completely. Now, among the people that I sent this was someone that I ran into at one of the grocery stores a few months ago. And I was leaving the grocery store, and there was this woman there with a man and a child, and they saw me, and they came up to me, and I knew the woman. She was a young woman at the time, and a long time ago, but she recognized me, and she came up to me, and in any event, we talked and met her husband, met the child, and so I gave her my email, my phone number. So she responded to that email. She saw the video.
Nice.
And she told me that this summer, she works at a grocery store. She works in the deli. Her husband works at another grocery store at a deli, in the grocery store. She said that when she went to pick up her husband one day at his grocery store, there was a woman, a homeless woman, outside the grocery store. Now, she was missing a foot. And her other foot, she had no shoes, she had no socks. And there was what appeared to be like dried blood on the foot.
Right.
She was homeless. And as she was passing by, she stopped, and the woman was asking for help. She needed water. And then that's when my friend, she noticed her feet, or her foot really. And the woman says, "I wish I had some socks." So what this young woman did was she took off her socks and she put them on the woman's foot. She called her husband, who was getting off, just exiting, get her some water. And he brought out some water and gave it to her. And that's when she shared with me something she had never shared with me. She says when she was very young in high school, she had experienced homelessness herself. And seeing this woman just completely moved her. And when she saw the story that I sent her, it resonated, And I believe her that she told me. I've known her. I mean, when I knew her back then, she was a very kind person. But I didn't know about her circumstances.
Right.
But I had the assumption she came from tough and difficult environment. So in any event, I sent this email, and Steve Hartman from CBS has been doing this for 20 years. It's called On the Road. And he does these stories all around the country of people who do this. And there was one more, I'll just share this and I'll be quiet, there was a story that he did about a police officer. She had been killed in action. And I forget which town it was. And the community went to her funeral. It was a big deal. And she was very young. And they showed photos of her with her dog and her husband. She was full of life. Now, the reason this was a Steve Hartman story was because after she died, a man showed up to the police station. He had a backpack. He had a cap. And he had heard that she had been killed. And he had a few dollars in his hand. And he says, this is where the service is for. The man would not give his name. But he said that he was homeless. And that police officer, whenever she saw him and the other homeless people, had always been very kind to them. And he refused to give any information about himself. And they never found out who he was. He just, the camera has him going to the police, meeting the clerk, and then walking out.
That's amazing.
So, So again, it's On the Road, Steve Hartman on CBS. There's a YouTube channel.
Well,
and I watch this stuff all the time. So anyway, I emailed that to these gentlemen here. Maybe I didn't include you, John. I'm sorry.
I found it in my email. The 25th.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Then it's there. And so
anyway,
and then Gary got the idea for doing this stream of all days, this macabre day.
I picked it on purpose.
Thank you for indulging me in my little rant here.
No, I love it.
But and in today's society, man, with how the economy is, I mean, anyone could find themselves in those shoes. Anyone could find themselves homeless. Everyone's a few disasters or circumstances away sometimes, Yep. And it's important that when you're looking at others, you're trying to look at them through different lenses, right? You don't know people's circumstances. You don't know really what they're going through. And I find myself thinking about this stuff daily, just during my regular tasks when I'm at the supermarket, and just regular stuff like letting someone pass, or just we're both getting there. Oh no, I'm not in a rush.
Just be polite.
Just simple little things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't take but a second of self-awareness and a little bit of forethought to pay that kindness forward to somebody. And you don't know what the effects on that might save their day. That might change their whole outlook for that day. You might have been the first person that was kind to them that they ran into that day. And it may have been the one little spark they needed to turn their day around. You don't know.
It's true. It's very true, again.
For me, that brings something that I've been, ever since you invited me to do this, I feel like I was toying with the concept of, what is it that creates consistency in someone's behavior that creates kindness, and what is it that creates that attitude for them? And for me, it like the relationship or the correlation between kindness and gratitude is really tight. And that when I'm at my nicest and when I'm at my best, it's when I've got that humility, gratitude attitude about things, and like, to your point, like being able to go to the grocery store and get what you need, being able to turn the faucet on and have water come out that you can actually drink, being able to have shelter when it's the weather's inclement outside. Like these things are so easy to take for granted, right?
Take for granted for them all the time.
And when
yes.
you have that perspective, I think and you're able to ingrain and remind yourself, because it's not the natural human state. I think the natural human state is very cynical, self-absorbed, selfish. But when you're able to escape that, I think it instantly connects to kindness, and you become a kinder person when you can be in that elevated place of thinking.
It's hard to step outside yourself. It really is.
Oh my gosh.
I think one of the major things that did that for me though was when I had my kid, and then I'm like, I have to be an example. Like, how do I want to shape who he's going to be?
Sure.
You know, what's going to be my contribution to that? What's the
I know people do that
for him?
People do that with faith, right? There's all kinds of belief systems for that. People do that with meditation. I know Robert and I have talked about yoga.
Oh yeah.
The mindfulness aspect of just being able to center yourself so that you're not worrying about the future, stressing about the past, whatever. You're in that present moment.
My whole thing for that, John, what you're talking about. I've always had. I used to be like always watching the watch. I don't wear a watch anymore. Oh, I never wear. I don't wear a watch anymore. It's like, okay, I'm going to be on time. I'm usually on time. It's like, this rush thing because of our society, and it's like, slow down just a little bit.
Yeah.
And take it easy. My whole philosophy is live for today, not tomorrow, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to be here tomorrow. And be kind to people. I'm like that all the time. My wife is like, we go to the grocery store and this old lady's having a hard time walking, and I'll help her. You're there. So yeah.
No, you're right on, Robert. I agree.
Yep.
Is Robert talking about being a nice person? I've met him.
Travis, how you doing, my friend?
Jesus, he's not y'all snowballs.
Travis, thanks for jumping on, sir. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. And honestly, gentlemen, thank you so much for making those videos. They are really kind of making a difference. We've raised about $1,500 just in the last less than 24 hours. And every single thing helps, to be honest. And I messaged John last night and was like, hey, man, I'm going to be making this video. And, of course, John, I was just on Tony's channel. And I was like, you know what? I know ahead of time there's a group of people I know is going to jump. I don't even have to ask them. They're going to do it, and like John and Robert and you and everything. I know ahead of time that they're going to do it. And it's so nice to see us kind of do our thing and kind of come together and be kind and support someone we all know. All of us know her. This is not. But then you get to see people that don't know her that kind of make some videos. And I've seen a couple shorts that people have made that don't even know who Jen is, but just the people have watched my channel or watched John's or your guys's and stuff like that, and they all, people like to help. People are kind, despite what all the crap that you hear and stuff. If you give people an opportunity to be kind and do the right thing, you just have to give them the opportunity to do it, and most of the time they're gonna do it. You just have to present them with something that's meaningful, and if they get an opportunity to do the right thing, I think most of the time people are going to do it. So that's kind of what's happening right now. So it's kind of nice to see. It's kind of uplifting, and
it's also for a person that's done nothing but put kindness out there herself.
Yeah, she really is. And I don't know if any of you guys have met her personally, in person, but if you saw the end of the video, there's a bunch of pictures of Jen, and there's a lot of pictures of her and I together, and we've spent quite a bit of time together. And every time we've been together and hung out, we've always just laughed and just really enjoyed it. And I remember the first time I met her in person, I was like, she's way cooler than I am, and why does she want to hang out with me? And I was like, damn, I go, okay, I must be a little cool if she wants to hang out with me. And
you think?
Yeah, so I was like, this is pretty awesome. And then, we hit it off. Me and her mother and her and Jen all went out to have lunch together, not too long ago. And it was so great to meet her mom. And and hang out, and you could totally tell that that's her mom. I mean, they look alike, they act alike. It was so wonderful,
Cool.
and it was just like, God, and then there was Jen's mom has known about me for a while. Jen's talked about me and stuff, and I remember Jen kind of stepped away from the table for a little bit, and me and Jen's mom just kind of looked at each other and had a moment, about Jen, and we both kind of started crying, just about the situation that she's in and stuff like that. And Robin's been really wonderful, and I'm hoping she comes back in town again when I'm in town. But, it's just, I don't know. It's just, Jen's so young, she's just, she's in her mid-30s, and it's like, what the hell, man? Why does someone have to go through this and just at the peak of her life and stuff, and as far as to get out there and enjoy, and here she is having to go through this horrible battle that's really just knocking her down. I mean, she's strong, she's a fighter, she'll do whatever she can, but in all honesty, it's an uphill battle, man. It's not easy.
Right. And at that age, you shouldn't have to have that fight.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No. And because there's a lot more life to live, and I want her to have the opportunity to do it, and hopefully I get to be a little bit of a part of it, because I love her. I love her to death. I mean, I really do. I mean, we did videos together. She was on the coffee video with me a handful of times. I remember the first time she came over to my house, and I could just imagine in her mind, like, okay, I'm going over to this older guy's house, and we're gonna make a video. I mean, that doesn't sound very charming. Right? She jumped in, full bore, and we just, it was like, boom, we just hit it off.
Well, Travis, friendship doesn't have an age gap, right? Friendship is friendship, and there's people I've met from this YouTube community, and it's literally felt like we've always been friends, right? Yeah. And I'm sure it's that way with you and Jen. It's like when you meet your buddy from 20 years ago and you pick up like you never lost a day, right?
Yeah. But that being said, if my daughter came to me and said, hey, Dad, I'm going to go over to this older gentleman's house to make a video that I've never met before, I'd be like, wait a minute. Let's have a different conversation.
It's even worse now when you're like, he invited me back to his van.
Yeah.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
Supposed to go make a video in his van.
Oh man,
that's all. But that
she's got such a brave face too. Always smiling, always putting something positive out there. Still being an example to everybody.
Yeah, she really is. And every time I'm back in Portland or in town, we always try to get together and hang out. And honestly, it's hard for her to do it. And like, we'll make plans to go spend the day together, and then like, most of the time she'll wake up that morning and just be too exhausted to do it. And I think out of the last 5 times we've planned something, she's only been able to do it one time, and the other time she was just too sick or too, weak to do it and stuff like that.
The treatments take it out of you.
Oh yeah, they really do, and because our treatments were every other week, and like the week of she did it, she's out of it for a while. So there's like a small window when she actually feels better, for a few days, and that's the window we tried to get. But even those days were, you never knew from one day to the next. But like I said, she's got something new that they're trying right now. I'm really fingers crossed, hoping for the best, and stuff, and hopefully this does it. Hopefully we have a different conversation in a few months, and we're making a video about, hey, guess what happened? Jennifer beat cancer, and she's kicking ass. So I mean, that's the next video I want to make.
Damn right.
Hell yeah.
Right. I mean, don't we all want to make that video, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Something that we can celebrate as a community.
Yeah.
And there's one thing, and I don't want to bring people down, but I don't want to lose another friend.
Right.
Yeah.
And Jen's a friend of mine that I know personally.
Yeah.
And I've lost a couple friends in this community that I knew really well. And I don't want to add someone else to that list. So
No, it's tough, and you know, I've lost people to cancer. I'm sure all these other gentlemen have. It's not easy. You know, I lost my mother to it when I was 19. She was only 37. Um, but
I
the
lost my
thing,
father 3 months ago to it.
yeah, and what makes this? I mean, it's never easy. But when someone's this young,
Hmm.
when someone's got so much more life ahead of them, you just hate to see something like this intrude on it.
Yeah.
Especially someone that hasn't put anything harmful out.
I must have did something right, by the way, Travis. She texted me earlier today, and so just made me feel good.
She,
We got
I,
to chat a little bit today.
she,
So that was nice.
she texted me today and she's like, I just saw your Instagram post and I'm bawling.
Yeah.
And I go, did you watch the video yet? She goes, I'm watching it right now. She goes, do I need tissues? I go, yeah, you might want to grab
That
some.
was perfect, Travis. Perfect.
So, but
I'll tell you, it was a difficult video to shoot, to shoot because talking
Me and
about
Queen
this,
were
it just brings up the
crying.
emotions, and you start choking on your words.
Yeah, it's not, you know, especially if
I don't know
you're.
how Bueller did it in one take. I mean, I was cutting the crap out of that video.
I did
Yeah.
too. I did too.
I sat there all day yesterday, and I just was like thinking in my head, okay, this is the day I'm making this video because I haven't wanted to make this video. I didn't want to make this video a year ago. You know, here's the thing. It's like when people heard about a Jen having cancer, people jumped on board, man. They were all over it, you know, right away. Boom, 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 boom. And throughout the last year, I've kind of put little reminders out just to keep people reminded what was going on because it's easy to forget that this is a long-term thing. This isn't, we help you for a week and we're good and you move on. And if you go look at like her donations for her GoFundMe, and she doesn't advertise her GoFundMe. She's not like on there saying this, but like her last donation before the last couple days was like months ago, you know, and I'm like, we talked last week and she kind of gave me an update and some tears were shed and stuff, and it was a tough conversation. But I was like, okay, Jen, we're gonna do something. Now's when I'm gonna, you know, put the pedal to the metal and call in some favors and
Travis, that link will be on every show from now on.
That's awesome, man.
Even on the top of the link so people know how to find her.
But yeah. So I mean, and make it. So all day yesterday, I thought about that video. It was on my mind the whole time, and I was just like, I want to do it in one take. I didn't have any notes. I had all the stuff in my head I wanted to say, and you know, I was just like, I'm just gonna sit there in front of the camera, you know, right to your face and say, you know, this is what's going on. This is what I need, and this was what you can do to help. And
so, Travis, do you want to talk about this? Because you know it best, and I think you would probably state it better.
Says, what does it say? Have never did a GoFundMe. When I click on the link, do I click on the anonymous on the right, or can I add mine? Yeah, you can add your name. You can do anonymous or anything that you'd like. It's pretty easy to do. You just literally click on it. You know, that they just ask for like payment information, however you want to pay. And I don't think they get too detailed as far as like whatever.
They don't. It's really simple. A couple seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it through your PayPal. There's a lot of ways to do it,
that's what I do.
You can choose if your name. It's just whether if you're comfortable with your name appearing or not. That's just a preference for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You got it, Crom.
Yes.
You got it.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And Brian, I sent you the link for her GoFundMe. If you want, you got a wrench, you can drop it in the chat if you want to drop it in there as well, Brian.
And it's also in the description of this video.
There it is.
And I want to say
it's in the video I made earlier, plus it's in this description as well.
I want to say thank you to everyone that's donated in the past and everything. And it just, you know, we raised up until, you know, last few days, we raised over $25,000 or we helped raise $25,000. Plus, you know, with the monies I've done with Dynamite for their claim sale, because I mean, right now I'm donating all my commissions for the next 2 months. Right. I don't know if people are aware, but I've already donated 6 months worth of my commission earlier this year, last year and this year. to Jen. So we've been able to generate thousands of dollars. And a lot of times I just sent it straight to her PayPal. Or I'd have people say to me, hey, what's going on? Because Jen didn't have a GoFundMe for a while. And it was like, Jen, you need to do this. I go, this is important. You need to put this out there. People were calling me wanting to help you, and they want to know how to do it. And I kind of had to get on Jen, and luckily with some local friends, she was able to set that up. But before that, I go, Jen, just give me your PayPal, and then I'm going to direct people there. So Jen's sitting there, at her home, and all of a sudden her PayPal goes ding, ding, ding. There's $500 in her PayPal, or $100 or $50, and people were just sending it straight to Jen.
Good.
So we've been able to help out quite a bit. And I told Jen right then, I said, Jen, do me a favor. I go, I know you're going to have bills, but take some of that money and go do something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay. Go enjoy life, because you're still here, and you need to take that opportunity to go and do something fun that you enjoy. And don't feel guilty about spending some of that money on yourself, because you've earned it. Go to she just recently got into pro wrestling. So go to that pro wrestling match, Jen, and go enjoy yourself and live in the moment for that day, or go on a trip.
Enjoy life some.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody.
John, I just made you a mod. I had no idea that as much as you've been on my channel, I never made you a mod.
Smart move. You don't know what kind of havoc I can wreak.
Yeah, he's a horrible mod.
Yeah, Bueller made me a mod so early, and now I never go to any of his lives.
Yeah, he's never there anymore. I forget this stuff.
Right, John's on my channel like 3 times a month though.
But I think first, Travis is Bueller. It's nice to meet you after all these years.
Nice to meet you too. I know Damien talks very highly of you, my friend.
Well, actually, Damien is how I met you and Sam. Damien, when you started your videos with Sam, well, no, he introduced me to Sam first, because he did a video about Sam's channel, and he made me aware that Sam is actually one of the original comic book YouTubers.
Oh yeah,
he goes back to the aughts. He goes way back when there was very few comic channels. And then he introduced me to you, and I remember I always enjoyed watching you and Sam and your show. And I knew, and based on, Damien didn't have to tell me, but I know that when Sam passed, it was, I guess, a shock, is to put it mildly, and what it did to you and to Damien and those that knew him personally. But what I see here is what Gary, the purpose of this, I guess, why we're doing this, is that I think Jennifer, who I do not know, I just know her from her shows, is that basically prior to YouTube, most of you were all strangers. And the fact that I wonder if Jennifer didn't have the YouTube, I assume she's got her personal life and her friends, right? She does have that. But just imagine a scenario where she didn't have a Travis. She didn't have all of you here. So I think that what you all started here way back then with the GoFundMe, or even before the GoFundMe, to help support her, and basically strangers. Some of them are strangers. You guys are strangers, but you started out as strangers online, because that was a very suspicious and nebulous area.
Yep.
Do this for her. I have to think has done something so wonderful to her faith in fighting and going on, not just living, but to go on, that all these strangers, all these people she met online who became friends, it must mean something. And to help her get better. And it is quite, remarkable what all of you have done here. Especially you, Travis. I know you've been on this way from the beginning. And that's just the whole point of this, really, in the end, of all of us here. And what do we want to do when we're on YouTube?
She's literally like family.
Yeah.
That's my sense is from all of you, is that she's family to you. and even some of you, have never met her physically and personally.
Nope.
And yet she is family to you, and also the other people that you have lost who have been comic book people here. And I've not experienced that with any of you all at this point, but I know every one of you has, with people that you've known, been very close to you. So there's something about, again, this community of the comic book world that we have, which is beyond positive. It's actually very life affirming. It goes back to that loving kindness, and that is here. And it's just one of those things. Is when we pass on, what do we want to leave on YouTube? Our channels are going to remain.
Right.
They're going to go on and on. Right. What do we want to leave behind? And I want to think we want to leave behind. Be kind. Don't be cruel. Put yourself in someone else's shoes.
And I think about that with all my videos, Gore. Like, I'm like, my
all of you here, all of your videos are like that. Yours, Robert's, John's, Bueller's, and many people who are on the chat. I mean, it's a very exceptional world.
When my kid views it, I want my kid to see an example of how to act, not how not to act.
That's what my grandkids take away from when they see me on my show. That makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
And there's like, Grandpa, G-Pa, I didn't know that. And I'm like, yeah, and we just start talking. So, my
kid will see I'm a nerd.
Yeah, they definitely know G-Pa's a nerd.
That to do anything I've done, I didn't tear anyone else down to do it.
Exactly.
I didn't do anything at the expense of another human being.
Being yourself, period.
So, I just want to say something about kind of what you just said there about YouTube and basically what it's done. I've been around a long time. There's been a handful of people before me and stuff like that. But when I came in to this YouTube world, let's just say there was a certain amount of gatekeepers when I started doing this, and we're very protective of someone new coming in. And so I got a lot of pushback when I came into this genre, and especially when things started kind of taking off for me, I got even more pushback. But one thing I decided really early on was I don't want to be one of those gatekeepers. And I remember talking to Reggie one time about my role as a YouTuber in the comic book community. And he goes, "What's your role?" I go, "I'm the doorman." And he goes, "What do you mean you're the doorman?" And he goes, "I don't want to be a doorman." I go, "Let me tell you, I want to be the guy that holds the door open and tells everyone to come on in." That's good. What I want to be. I don't care what you do, what you get in, but I want to be the guy to hold the door open and say, "Hey, you guys are welcome to come in and do whatever you want and find whatever you want." And from day one, when I kind of made that decision, here we are 7 years later, and I've held that door open the whole time and always invited people in. And while doing that, I've been able to make tremendous friends, meet them in person, drive out in the middle of nowhere and hang out with Robert.
Do you know people are still talking about that, Travis? Here in this town? They still talk about that. Who's that guy in that van? I keep hearing about it.
Yeah. but
really, the warrants.
All the people I've met and had the opportunity to kind of say, "Hey, come on in, come be a part of this." It's not an exclusive thing. And when I started, people were trying to make it really exclusive, like, no, you can't come in here. This is our house. You can't come in. And I was like, that's bull, man. Everyone's welcome. And people found me, people found others. And now it really is kind of its own family. And I kind of look at it as like, I just threw a little pebble in the water and let the ripples go out and see what happens. And that's actually kind of what we're doing here with Jen as well. I throw a little pebble in the water, the ripples start happening, and all of a sudden it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and all you guys are a part of it.
I'll go a step further because I think Bueller's being a little humble even, and because I legitimately I've said to Travis many times that I feel like I'm grateful that he was leading by example in a lot of these categories. And I remember I think it was the summer after I just done a couple of videos with my daughters, and I was thinking, oh, maybe we should try some live streams or whatever. And I reached out asking Bueller a question or two. He almost immediately gave me his cell phone number. Yeah. And I was on the phone with him at a soccer practice, at a soccer game. I'm dressed as a referee because I'm about to go ref for my daughter's game or one of the games after. And there's Travis, and he's walking me through. This was back in the Google Hangouts days.
Yeah,
walking me through Google Hangouts. He's like, "This is how." So again, he was having a ton of success. His YouTube channel was blowing up. I'm an idiot nobody, still am. And he's like on the phone with me using his time to teach me how to do something with technology. And he never asked anything of it, and he never told me to do anything, but it was clear that he was leading by example, and this was a pay it forward moment. And I've instinctively followed that example ever since as a way of like, you need to know how to use StreamYard. You want to know how to use whatever. Like, if I have the knowledge, I will absolutely jump in and help. And it was this gentleman's example that I was following the whole time.
There's a lot of, I think you judge a person by what they do when nobody's looking. And because it's not about credit or nothing like that.
That is true.
It's never been about that for me. And there's a lot of stuff I've done.
You do it just because, period.
Yeah.
It's the right thing to do.
It's exactly the right thing to do. And if you get the opportunity to do the right thing, like I said earlier, you do it. And, I made a video a few months back about YouTube changed my life. That's true. I mean, that's me right there sitting on a mountain telling you guys my life is saved because of what I discovered doing this YouTube and met all these people and gave me a reason to live. And I don't take any moment at all for granted. I was just out where I'm at right now in Tennessee, and I'm sitting at this beautiful lake, and I'm sitting there in this water all the way up to my neck, and I'm just sitting there looking around. There's nobody around me. I mean, I got this lake all to myself, and I'm just looking around. And I just start laughing, and I'm like an idiot. I'm like, I can't tell you that this is my life now, and I'm just like, I'm just laughing for no reason. But I just moments like that, I just think, I'm like, okay,
I do.
Yeah,
I like that.
And this is how I get to live. And it's just like, God damn, it's just like,
yeah,
it's a 180 from where I was, and all along the way, I've been able to, from the very beginning, I said to myself, I'm going to do this the right way. I'm not going to take any shortcuts, and I'm going to lead by example and be positive because I want to leave my mark, and I want my kids to be proud of me. And up to that point, they probably weren't too proud of me. I was just dad, Sure, they were proud of me or whatever, but I gave them a reason to.
Yeah.
And that was really my motivation. Like I said, I met John in person. It was a big moment for me to meet John. I was really excited to do it.
Same for me. And then it was such a letdown, but I mean, it was worth it. Like, I guess in some way.
And
by the way, Travis, we now have the largest bobber in town. It's literally the water tower is turned into a bobber.
That's ridiculous. I'm going to tell everyone here.
Sorry, Travis.
The little town that Robert lives in, they worship bluegill.
Yeah, that's it.
They got a 10-foot statue of a bluegill in the front of the town.
Now they got a bobber.
People live there.
Unbelievable.
And it's just like, I get there and I go, "Oh, is this your house?" And he's like, "Yeah, I grew up right down the street at that house." And so he's never left. So I told Rob, I go, "Dude, you got to get out of here sometime, man. This is driving me nuts." And you know what? It was going to see Robert was not on my way. I was like, "No, I want to go see Robert. I want to meet him in person." So I drove 100 miles in the opposite direction and then go back the other way just to hang out with this guy right there. I remember the one thing I remember going to his house and seeing his house And I was like, oh man, this is interesting. You know, because this is the same guy that sent me a ham across the United States on the first month.
That was okay. I sent you more than his. Hey, I'm Jim. What's up?
Yeah, but let me finish here. But then there's like a basement to his house, and like in the back of his house, and I look at it, he goes, "Don't go down there." I'm like, dude, I ain't going down there. I ain't going down there. You know?
Oh, you're so much, Travis.
Yeah,
love
Where
you.
made the ham.
But
Yeah,
I think too, Travis, part of the reason we're all even here tonight is we've all had the same experience with YouTube, right? Like this is like when I came on in 2019, I didn't know this was something I needed.
Yeah,
I didn't know
it's
about
like
the
therapy.
relationships I would make here. I didn't know about the people I would meet that would become as good of friends as any I've ever met in my life. People I could call and depend on. People that I could have conversations with. You know, and all that was unexpected. You know, and I'm sure all these guys have had similar experiences, but I still do YouTube because I still get fulfillment from it. I still come on. I get to hang out with my friends. It's you know, it's a twice weekly hangout on my live streams with people I genuinely like and care about, and I get to meet new people that become friends after that as well. Yep. So, but you know, and again, like one of those people, and I've been wanting to stream with him for a while was Gore. You know, once I became friends with John, you can't shake that guy. I'm
the VD of the comic book community.
Hey, someone's got to have that role. So might as well.
Yeah. I'll take it. It's got to be the John, right?
Yeah.
And I'm still surprised daily that anyone comes on my stupid little channel. You know, it's amazing.
You and me both, brother. You and me both.
Like I'm never at a want for a guest. Like I'm booked months ahead. I always have people. Everyone comes on. They're always gracious. They're always kind. They always have something of value, and it's just a complete joy. Although this guy here is still dodging me expertly, so he's got a good dodge game.
Hey,
Damien.
Howdy, Damien.
I'm wanting him too. Digger Jim's awesome. He was just
Damien's great.
Excellent.
Damien is wonderful. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, we just like, and I just thought it was really important because I don't think kindness is spoke about enough in our community. It's there. It's always there. And you can see it in a lot of daily reactions. And, you know, interacting with kindness is a choice. You could interact with something else or you can interact with kindness.
Yeah.
And it's just the choices you want to make. And for me, making these choices are something I want to show my kid.
Agreed.
You know?
Because
our kids are exposed to all this, to a digital world daily. And what are we going to give them for an example?
Well, it's a digital world that feeds off of hate viewing and rage baiting and all of these things. And I'm a firm believer that you get back what you send out into the world. And if you continue to feed that monster, that's going to be your existence. You know, that's going to be everything. There's a point when you go beyond, I just want to be well informed, to it's my life now. It's my whole existence. I need to absorb this content. And you've gone way beyond informed, and now it's changing you. And I think I'm very conscious of how I use social media. And when I know I've got a friend who is in that spiral and they're always going to be posting that kind of intense content, I swipe. I just keep moving rapidly through, and the algorithm remembers. And then when there's those people that have that energy I want to absorb more of, and I'm making sure I'm commenting, I'm liking, I'm engaging with that content, because that mythical algorithm will realize it, and it will continue to feed you. It's that what's that Native American folk legend, right? The two wolves, and you got to choose which one to feed.
Yeah, which one you feed. Yeah,
it's very true.
I also, in my daily life, like, people don't realize I don't watch reality TV at all. Because it's all drama based, and it's all based on making someone at home
miserable,
feel like they're better than someone that they're watching, and it's just not a concept I subscribe to.
Oh, lost our Bueller.
Yeah, Well,
I
he was having internet problems. I'm lucky I haven't, because I told you I got the notification with the storm that there's outages in my area, and it hasn't happened to me yet.
But even in the realm of reality, I think reality television, there's things that you can absorb that aren't, like the greatest British Bake Off or whatever it is that my daughters are obsessed with.
That's an example of something that's positive. That's great.
Yeah.
And even when someone loses
it's a
on
competition,
that, I did watch that, but because it wasn't negative.
But you're engaging in something that clearly has the passion behind it, right? These people that are that cooking, baking, this is their passion, and that's the juice of the comic community. Is I love tuning into channels. I don't read Conan comics. I haven't read Conan comics, but I love tuning into the passion that Gary brings when he's bringing up that stuff. Yep. That's exciting for me. I don't read a lot of Golden Age stuff, but when I find a Golden Age YouTuber who is passionate about it, I feed off of that because their joy is contagious, right?
Right. And then Robert, we haven't let you speak a lot tonight. You've been kind of quiet and in the background.
No, that's okay. I've been chiming in. I'm good. I
just want to make sure you got your light. I didn't know if there was anything specific you needed to bring up tonight.
No, I've been talking along with you guys. Everything's just fine. And
what Robert's good at is, you've seen his Facebook page. I don't have Facebook, but I can access Facebook. Is that he's tending to his Venus flytrap garden?
Oh, my plants!
I saw that.
I mean, it's enchanting to watch this.
Thanks.
And that's just it, It goes back to Voltaire or in Candide, where in that story, how it ends is, you tend to your garden, you get rid of the weeds, and you focus on that is productive. And with Robert, his garden is actually quite amazing in what he's done.
Thank you.
I've never really appreciated the Venus flytrap until watching him, what he's done. And regarding regarding the people that I know, and I know quite a few, that they're always on their phones, and they're always, and I've noticed that the ones that are on their phones all the time, their anxiety is higher.
Yeah. They're
angrier or they're upset about something most of the time, a lot more. Mm-hmm. And they look at me and go, "Why aren't you upset about this?" And I said, "Well, I don't have that iPhone that gets all these little ping, 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 pings here, right? And this is going to piss you off. This is going to make you even angry. This is going to do this." I don't do that. Those who want to be informed, I am informed. When I'm informed, I turn on my laptop. As you guys know, I just have to turn on my laptop. It goes on. I go to the news feeds that I follow. I go to the newspapers that I'm subscribed to. And then I read the stories, or I watch the stories. And then I close it. And that's where it ends. I go on with the rest of my life, and I'm not absorbed with this content like what John talked about. I know a lot of people like that. And it's just no wonder you're upset all the time. You're angry all the time. You're anxious all the time.
That's right.
This is the world you want to live in. You can easily cut it off. You easily could do that, but they're unable to do that or unwilling to.
It's tough, right? Because it's what you're inundated with, and it is a constant battle, because it would be easy to succumb to some of the rampant negativity that's always present.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And again, it comes down to trying to set an example, like we've all talked about, right? What are you going to choose? What are you going to feed? And over here in the daily life, for me, I've been going through our business that I worked for, getting sold, getting closed, not knowing if I was having a job next week or not. To get a job again 3 days before, it was like, what am I going to do? So I got lucky, and I got that job where a lot of people didn't. And I was one of two people that ended up getting hired from our facility, right? And I'm thankful for that. But it's stressful. And the hardest time to choose kindness and positivity is when your life is stressful.
That's true.
And at the forefront, I'm still thinking, all right, all this is really bad. I'm really stressed out. I'm barely getting any sleep. As a man, when stuff is affecting me, I just clam up. I bottle it all. And that's not healthy, but I do. I bottle everything.
So then
But
maybe
at the forefront of my mind, I'm like, I still have to set, no matter how things may look at the moment, I still got to set an example for my kid. I still got to give him something for him to look forward to, something for him to live by. And that always helps set the kindness. And just having someone, it doesn't have to be your kid. It could just be your friends. It could be anyone else. You know, I have a friend that's gone through a lot of stuff with his wife being sick. And, you know, when he interacts with me, I don't want to put negativity towards him. I want to give him something positive he's interacting with. That way the rest of his life isn't as stressful. And I think that's something we all try to engage in.
I was gonna say it seems related to maybe the bigger umbrella topic of mental health and how we are accessing and understanding our own reactions to the world, because it's easy to get bogged down. I don't want to hate on cynicism or optimism. I think it's, you know, we all try to be realists, right?
Realists. Yep.
But reality is hard. Reality is hard to take, and being able to step back from it and recognize your own triggers and your own state wherever you are, so that you can then navigate that mental health space. I think there's a lot of value in teaching children how to do that. There's a phenomenal book. I think it's called Have You Filled Your Bucket Today, or something like this. And it's all this concept of mental health being this bucket, right? And you're carrying around all your emotions in it all day. And how people that are their buckets feeling empty and they're feeling very, you know, in a very negative space, tend to want to dip the buckets of other people that are in a positive space. They tend to want to spread that energy around, right? Whatever space you're feeling. And that the only way to fill up your bucket in a positive way is to do something for other people.
Yes.
And that's a really complicated lesson in this children's book. The idea that you can't just like force yourself to be happy. You can't force yourself to be positive. It's very challenging to do such a thing, but you can, like to Gary's point a second ago, be thoughtful to a friend, be doing something for somebody else, and you'll be surprised the impact it has on your mental health and your well-being.
And I mean, is there a better feeling than when you make somebody else smile?
Yeah, exactly. Gary, I was going to say, I'm going to get onto that point which you just said. You were talking about job transition, a new company, and people. I've been working with this company where I'm at for over 15 years. And every day I come in, I wake up and I basically just meditate for a good half an hour before I go to work. Just think about my day. And I'm usually a very happy person. The queen always tries to figure out, how can you be so happy? I come to work, I'm like, what's up? And people are just like, you can ask anybody at my work. Galvin is never sad. And there's times where I am. I always try to lift people up when I'm at work. And this is the thing with me. It's like, ever since I've started working there, there's so many negative people there that I work with. It's unfortunate. It's like, that's not their life. That is not your life. You work your 10 hours and you leave. Don't bring it home with you. My common rule is, when I'm with the honey, it's like, I don't talk about work. We talk about it in the car. When we get home, done. We don't talk
I'm
about
the same too. I don't talk about work at home, and I don't talk about home at work. I keep them
You can
completely
ask my
separate.
bosses, you can ask anybody at my work. That's Galvin is like happy, and they make fun of me. They're like, "Oh, he's always laughing, he's always smiling." And I'm like, "Sorry, guys." And then when they start not talking negative stuff to me, or just pounding me with all this stuff, I'm like, "And so, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Answer the question. Be logical about it." So that's the way I've always been. So it's like, if it's not logical, it's not even worth it. Your life is too short. Live it for what you have for today. Be happy. Plain and simple.
Robert,
Sorry, that
can I
hit
tell
me
the,
when you talked about that, Gary.
Can I tell a story about when you
Yes.
took me to your work?
Oh, I'm sorry. Because I wanted to show. Listen, Travis, wait. Before you start talking, wait. No, let me finish. Put me back up.
Okay.
I gotta finish.
I'm gonna lean into this because I don't know where this is going, but I'm
brought
so excited.
Travis, listen, when
Me too.
Travis came out here, what I was trying to show Travis is the life I live, what I do. And I brought him to my work. I was very happy because I was telling everybody at my work that my good buddy that I have known for many years on YouTube is coming into town. And I want you to meet who he is. I want you to meet him. This is my geeky side. And this is a really good buddy of mine. And I want him to see what I do every day. Whether he likes it or not, or he thinks it's weird, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to tease me now.
No. I have no problem with your work at all.
Okay, put Travis back on. Go ahead. I just want to get that out.
The first thing when I get there, he gives me a shirt. So I'm wearing a shirt that says
You
G-Spot.
had to wear something reflective.
It says G-Spot right on the front of the shirt. Okay. First thing.
It had to be safe. You had to be
Because I
safe. I don't want Travis
I
to
had to
run
wear,
over.
I had to wear the vest, and I think we had a helmet, or I can't remember for sure. Okay, but that's not the thing. And so we go to Robert's work and stuff, and it's a nice place, really cool. And he proceeds to show me around, which is great. I actually really enjoyed myself. And he proceeds to introduce me to everyone there, but not Travis. Everyone we went to, he goes,
I
"This is Comics with Bueller." And I was they're like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
No idea who he was. Like, you're such an. I heard about that for like 3 weeks, Travis. Who's that guy? I had people coming up to me for like weeks. He's
And-
weird,
and-
like,
So he would just say, "Oh," and everyone. He goes, "This is Comics with Bueller." And I go, "Travis." But like he introduced me to, and it was such a pleasure to meet everyone. I really did enjoy. They were all very kind, and I was pretty just excited to be there with Robert and hanging out with him. But I was sitting to myself, I'm like, maybe Robert forgot my name. Maybe he's just going to and it wasn't like this is Bueller. This is Comics with Bueller. And I'm like, these people are just looking at me like,
I had no idea. Who it was.
it was so fun. I had a great time.
Good. I'm good.
And that's the thing too. If you want to get humble, just go say what your channel is outside the comic community, and everyone's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah, exactly.
Except for
No,
John.
it's funny, but and also and I've had I don't want to call it the good fortune, but I've been able to learn from people I've seen in my life make the wrong decisions and take bad paths, which have informed me and helped me be in a mental state where I can make the better choice in my life, especially seeing how choices others have made have affected those around them. I was able to learn from those and steer clear. And sometimes that's been at the loss of a really good friend who made a really poor decision and at tragedy. But if you don't, but the only thing you can do to honor them is to learn from it and make sure you're putting something else out there that honors their memory in a positive way.
Right. Agreed.
Because it's like we were saying, life's not easy, man. And kindness, finding kindness, especially in this community, like this community has kept me in a positive mental state since 2019. That's with me going through a divorce, going through the company I work for being sold 3 times since then, and surviving all 3 transitions.
Corporate
And
America. There you go.
I mean, and knowing that I get to come home and get on a stream and hang out with John and Gore and Robert, and even tonight, this is the first time I've got to hang out with you, Travis, but it helps me mentally, right? I know I got positivity when I get home.
Yep.
I know I got something good to go to, and it's these type of engagements I seek out on my channel. And that's what it's all about for me. First of all, sharing something I love. Rather, like John said, we don't all like the same thing,
Right.
but I can appreciate somebody's passion for something and have 100% thorough enjoyment watching it.
I can remember
Totally.
when John was doing his little robot skit, whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I kid you not, he made the thing with me and Sam. And Sam like calls me on the phone. He goes, "Did you see that video that John made of us as Legos?" Sam was so excited, man.
Yeah.
Put a smile across his face all day. And he must have watched, because he came over, he must have watched it like 20 times.
That's all my views. That was all of them.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, it's like stuff like that, like you're talking about. It's like, I found this community, I found the support. A great example is someone like Sam. Sam, unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but God, he got a community. He found his place, and he fit in. Like, he was like, this is where I belong. Yeah. And he had the opportunity to kind of spread his wings a little bit. And I can remember talking to his family, and some of you guys know the story off air and stuff, and like they're like, "What do you mean he has all these friends?" And they had no idea, stuff. They didn't know that he was so important to so many people.
I didn't know this, Travis. This is new to me.
Yeah, and it was just like, I unfortunately it got a little muddy.
Never judge a face by the cover. You never know. It
got a little muddy after he passed away with his family and stuff. I spent a lot of time kind of trying to convince them, like, hey, there's a whole side of Sam you did not know, and there's a lot of people that care about him. You need to give me the opportunity to have those people step up and take care of what needs to be taken care of. And right off the bat, everybody did. It was just like that. And they had no idea that here's this whole another world. Like you said earlier, it's like, oh, go tell someone that is not in the comic book community that you're a YouTuber and stuff. And they're like, who are you? Who's calling you?
Yeah.
But in this world, in this little niche that we have, Sam was extremely well known.
Yeah.
Just throughout everything, the time he gave to be in people's chats and all this stuff, and he found his place, and it made him happy. It gave him, I could tell a difference, from the very beginning when I first met him, very early on, to when we started doing things together and he was on my channel and he kind of started branching out and stuff like that. And you just saw him light up, because now he gets the opportunity to share his passion with a whole group of people. And people enjoyed his time, his presence. People enjoyed having him around. People loved Sam. I mean, I loved him, he was extremely special to me. I mean, everyone knows this. We were together, for a long, long time and stuff. Right. And spent many time together. And I still to this day, every now and then, go back and watch our videos together. Just when I miss them and stuff, and I still go back. Just like
I liked your retro one you did. You did a retro one just a little while ago.
Yeah, and
how good is it to have that to go back to too, right?
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah. It's a wonderful memory to have, and it's just like I'm so glad that I'm obviously heartbroken he's no longer here, but I'm happy to have these memories with him, and the stuff. I watched some of the stupid ass things that we would say to each other on camera, and I'm like sitting there watching them now. Years later, I'm like, what the hell were we saying?
Right.
We had a conversation one time about, and it was literally about every time you go poop, do you pee or do you something like that? And that was the conversation we had like a half hour on camera. We're like, do you ever not pee when you poop? And he's like looking at me like, I don't know. The stupidest stuff ever. But yeah, we just had so much fun just kind of going for it, just kind of enjoying it. And I remember me and Sam would just sit there after we were done, and we'd go back and watch that video and just look at each other like, what the hell, man? This is so fun. And I'd be like, Sam, are you sleeping? Are you staying here tonight? You want extra bedroom? He goes, yeah, is that okay? I go, yeah, man, go ahead. And he would stay the night at my house all the time. And, to have someone like that, and the reason why I had someone like that was because of doing this, and doing the comic book stuff. And literally, here I am sitting in the comic shop after like 10 videos of doing YouTube, and this guy walks in, and this is how me and Sam met.
Yep.
Sam walks into the shop, and the owner of the shop goes, "Hey, what brings you in?" And Sam goes, "There's this YouTuber called Comics with Bueller that talked about your shop." And the shop owner goes, "Oh, that guy right there?" Because I was standing, 10 feet away. And he's like, "Oh, hey." So Sam is the first one to ever call me Bueller and stuff. And so, like, that day, we hung out, we went and got something to eat, and that was it. That was all it took. And then we were off to the races.
Wonderful story, Trevor.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like we did so much stuff together, and he was like instantly like one of my best friends.
Wow.
And not to to tie everything together, having him pass away without having any idea that was we had lunch the day before. We had lunch. He came to my bus. He sat here on my bus right across from me, and we sit here and played PlayStation. We played Metal Gear Solid. He goes, "Oh yeah, I used to play this all the time." He couldn't make it past like the first 5 minutes. He was horrible. And we just sat here and played, and he said, "Oh, I'm not feeling that great." And I was like, "Sam, you want me to take you to the bus stop?" Because he'd ride the bus into town and stuff like that. So he's like, "Yeah."
Right.
And then so I took him to the bus stop, and then like the next day, I believe him and Damien had coffee together, and then that night, he passed away. And it was like, I remember getting the phone calls like, "Sam passed away." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I was just with him. I was literally just with him. And, it is what it is. So I mean, all that came to a sudden halt really fast.
Yeah.
It was just devastating to all of us, especially the guys who knew him personally, like myself and Damien and Bob, and that spent time with him all the time. And now, when I think about, okay, here's another member of my Portland comic book crew. That's kind of what we nicknamed it. Who's going through something, different but similar.
Right.
And it's like, God damn it, if I get the opportunity to help to possibly prevent something from happening again.
Right.
Me and Damien had this conversation with each other. If we would have known, we would have did something. We would have been. We would have been there for
exactly.
Sam. We talked about this many times, and if we would have known, there's no way we would have let this happen to him. And so now I get the opportunity to. I don't know if you want to call it redeem this or whatnot, but now everyone gets to be involved in.
And not so much just the foreknowledge, right? Which is key.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of that knowledge comes from just some sad circumstances in life that you got to live through.
Right.
No, Travis, if you don't mind, I don't think you need to be redeemed about anything. I mean, you were a friend to Sam, as was Damien. And I think you did what you were supposed to do when you were his friend. You didn't know his circumstances. And I think the friendship that you gave Sam and Damien, those that knew him, and it all came through comics.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been through comics, you guys would never have met. And I must believe that you made an incredible difference in his life, as he did for you.
Big time.
And I mean, redemption is usually because you make a mistake somewhere and you want to make up for it. I don't think you made a mistake at all, Travis. That's just what I think. And your love for your friend, and was apparent. And it's one of those things we learn about people after the fact. And it's just a credit to you and Damien, like what you would have done if you knew. But it's not redemption. It's just what you would have done. But in the end, I think you were a friend to him. You probably extended his life a little longer, because that's what being around kind people, good people, I think does to people. It extends our life. It extends your life to others, and without you realizing it. And it's not a false positivity. It's not a conjectured optimism that's fake. it has to be genuine for it to actually be effective, I think. And it's difficult. I mean, because you've lost your friends. But I think with passing of him, his friend, is that he had to have gone knowing that he had people who loved him for who he was, for being himself. And I don't know how many people can actually say that when the days close.
Right.
So they know they're going to pass. It could be a split second, it could be a few minutes, or they know they're going to pass. Can they actually say, there's actually someone who cares for me, genuinely cares for me, not for what I give them, not for what I'm useful for, but because they love me.
Yeah.
And I think Sam went away knowing that people loved him.
And then every day that he was in every show, every time he was with you, Bueller, he was living his best life. He was with his best friend. He was
lit up like a light bulb.
Right.
I want to give a little. I want to make sure I give Damien some credit here too, because you guys know me and Damien are really good friends. Sleepy Reader, and there he is right there. But the night when Sam passed away, I was at his sister had called me to go to his house and to kind of help go through some stuff. And without getting into any detail, it was kind of a disaster. And I called Damien, and he was there like within 20 minutes. And me and Damien did what we needed to do to take care of some things. And I think in that moment, me and Damien were kind of close, but I think I look at it this way. I really bonded with Damien because I saw how much, our mutual friend meant to him as well. And from that, I take out that me and Damien are very, very close right now. We've had many conversations about our personal life and just things going on. And Damien knows I'm there for him, and I know Damien's there for me. And, if one thing I like to look at, like I said, we knew each other before, we were friends and stuff, but I think with Sam passing really kind of bonded us. And I remember when Damien pulled up there, it's like started to rain, and we had very little time to do what we needed to do, and he didn't hesitate one bit. And that was a really, it was a tough night, but without him, they got through it. So I just want to tell Damien thank you.
And Damien is someone I discovered later in the community too, but instantly likable.
Yeah, he's okay.
Well, you know what it is that he has a sincerity to him that drew me to him, and when he's talking with his content, his thoughts are well thought out, and just a good all around dude. And I was picking on him earlier, but he did remind me in the chat that he did do that Logan's Run stream with us.
Yep, he did. He did.
But yeah, it's amazing. And again, I mean, that's what this stream is about, right? I mean, these relationships that we've formed in this community, have really provided something that we weren't getting somewhere else, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You can have the love of your family and your kids, but as adult men, we need the buddies.
Yep.
Men are like dogs, right? You need that friendship. Like that loyalty of a good friend. Like you have the loyalty of a good dog, like dogs are pack animals, right? Guys are kind of pack as much as we're by ourselves a lot. We also need the company of each other.
Yep.
Gore made a comment it's gonna fester. I'm just say it that way. About thinking about having Travis think about the impact he had on Sam that was positive, not necessarily the regret, right? And I think it sits with me as on a mindset issue, right? Like the idea that if you're willing to say, I could have impacted more and done more, you have to be willing to also admit I was doing something.
Yes.
I was having impact. Now, it doesn't negate that regret or that guilt, but it can alleviate the weight that you're carrying if you're able to at least acknowledge, I'm continuing to do, like we are with Jen, or each, just in this stream with each other, investing in the energy I want to have in the world, right? The energy I want to experience with my time. I avoid the rage bait stuff as best I can, except for circumstances, as best I can. I only tune into his stuff because of the nudity. But I avoid it because I don't want it, right? I want to be a part of something feeling enlivening, enriching, right? And I love that sentiment, Gore, because again, it doesn't feel cynicist or optimist. It feels realist that you can't, as much as we're going to have guilt when we are no longer able to appreciate or have those people in our lives, we can ideally, we can also, when putting that pressure on us that like, I could have done more, I could have whatever, we can also admit to investing that positive time when we had the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
And yeah, it's just, and the thing I like about YouTube, John, is I take comfort in the fact that if I'm not around anymore, my kid can go and still see his dad on YouTube and see his dad interacting with friends, see his dad having a good time, see his dad living happily, and see me speaking about him in streams, knowing how much he meant to me, even if, just knowing that that's out there, right? And it's just like with, Travis, you always have that friendship with Sam on YouTube. It's there. Everyone can see how much you guys cared about each other. I mean, John, we've done how many streams together? Gore, we've done a couple. Robert, we've done a couple. But it's all these relationships you form. And, these are examples like this show tonight that we're leaving behind for anyone that might need something positive to look at. Not just our kids, not just our families, but who knows who might watch this that might need to hear anything we're talking about tonight, or it might help put them in a better state of mind. And it might help them get through their night. That's absolutely been going horrible for them, or their day.
Or to Bueller's point, or Travis's point earlier, like I can't tell you how many times I've gone to rewatch Jabroni or Sam's video and be able
inside Gwyneth Paltrow's G-Spot.
Yeah. Or hell, I'll go back and watch that first live stream with my daughters and be like, that's 6 years ago time travel. I can see the 6 years ago and be like, what the fuck happened?
Right, now they're adults almost, right?
Yeah.
I think we're all part of a circle here in the sense of a very positive circle, but it one of the first videos I saw of Damien, Sleepy Reader, and I was thinking about this because, as some of the things you all know, Cassidy passed away, the artist of Planetary and of X-Men, other books, I think yesterday or today. And one of the first videos I ever saw of Damien was him discussing Planetary and how that comic had brought him back into comics. And as I watched Damien discuss the comic, I like how he talked about it, but I saw something about Damien that I just really liked and respected. And I just started YouTube making some videos, and he was one of the early supporters of my videos. But there was a genuine kindness to Damien, and also a good critical eye to Damien. And now, if you jumped in several years later, this is how I came across John's Comic with Kids channel, John's channel, which led me really to all of you here, is that I think it was around Christmas time, and there was a live show of the kid who had 7. Yeah. And I just jumped on. I was a part of a different circle of YouTube comic channels, and Damien interacted with both worlds, but I was part of another world, and I was watching this young man, giving away these incredible books on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And he was giving away these things, and it was all these people were on the chat or on the panel, and I was going, "Who does that?" And he's a fellow. I live in Texas, and he's a fellow Texan. And I was watching this. I'm thinking, "What's going on here? He's giving away all these books." And I'm going, "Who are these people?" Now I'd seen John's Comics with kids before on the streams, but I thought it was a kids show. So I never clicked on his channel. But I was watching John commenting, and many others were there. So I subscribed to everyone who was there. And that's where I probably came across Bueller and a few others. No, although Bueller probably came through.
So, Gore, before you when you saw the channel that said Comicbook G-Spot, what do you think that was?
I thought exactly that. I thought exactly what you're thinking. Exactly what you're thinking.
Oh my God.
Exactly that.
Thanks,
but Gore, you raise a great point about this concept that is core to what Gary's talking about here. Active kindness, right? A-OK.
Yeah.
How many of us have ever had to try to explain this to people not in this community?
Yeah.
Right.
I've tried it. Yeah, right. I've tried it. It's not
a fundamental through line to the comic community that nobody can understand.
Yep.
And they just don't get it when you tell them. You mean
they don't.
I did
They
to you?
don't understand it.
Yes. Even in other collectible communities, this doesn't
You don't
happen.
see this. Yeah, you don't see this.
It's a completely comic book community unique thing that is shockingly, amazingly, fantastically normalized.
Yep.
Now, let me jump on that real quick, because I mean this is a long time ago, but some of you guys will remember. And I don't do these anymore, but when I started doing a mystery box called the Bueller box, okay, and this just kind of shows you the community itself. My idea was to pay it forward and have people send books for me to send out. And and people would send me stacks of books to put in my box to give away as free and stuff. And this, because I had the box, you'd get like 10 books, whatever it was, and then you'd get like free books from the community. Okay. And I would put like a little letter in there. These books were donated by, what's a good name? Two Gun Pedro. And these are yours for free. Or what's Donnie's channel name?
A Mastodon.
These books are donated by the Mastodon channel. Please go check out his channel. He gave these books for you, and so it was like connecting these pieces together with the ones that I had in the box, and then a stack of free ones that would come with it that weren't from me. They were from other community members that sent them to me for the sole purpose of sending them out to other people, not for me to keep. I mean, it was just like I was just a medium just doing this and stuff. And there was like every day I would get like a box of comics sent to me from random people, not just other fellow YouTubers. It's just like people that would watch the channel that would just send stuff. Hey, I like what you're doing. I want to be a part of it. Here's these extra books. If you want to keep them, you can, or if you want to send them out, you can. And I never kept anything. I don't.
I mean, he kept the keys, but like other than that, it was really nice of him.
That sounds like some real John's Comics with kids stuff there.
But it was so neat too. And I sold. I mean, over the years, I sold thousands of those boxes. You know, they were cheap. I didn't sell them for much. I sold them for like $10, $15. They were never more than $20 with shipping or whatever. But it was just like, you know, I remember Donnie sending me like a massive box, and they all looked like they were wrapped up like he was sending like a drug brick to the cartel. And the way he wrapped his books was like it took like a butcher knife to get the thing open and stuff. And I was like, he just sent me box after box of books just to send out to give away for free. And him among with others. But that's just like the kindness. And like I said, if you give people an opportunity to be kind, a lot of people will take it. They just don't get the opportunity to do it very often. And that was my whole reason. I was like, maybe I can give people an opportunity to see what happens. And sure enough, people stepped up. And, that's kind of been the story ever since I started. And people step up. If the opportunity is there, you just have to present it to them, and they jump on it. People want to do good things. People want to, be kind.
And TJ brought it up, so I'm gonna circle back onto TJ because I promised I would, and much like Steve Whiting, and we could talk a lot about Steve Whiting as well.
I know about Steve Whiting's reputation.
TJ is an A-OK beast, and one of the first times I came across this term A-OK was Matt Thanatos's iconic unboxing when TJ basically gifted him. I think he ended up being like a 2-night event because Thanatos got so toasted and was so emotionally overwhelmed by the comics in the box that he actually ended the stream and had to come back the next night and finish. And I don't know a single person who wasn't absolutely emotionally overwhelmed watching Matt, who is not as much of a YouTuber anymore, but I can drop the link to his channel if people want to. I can probably bring up the unboxing. It was an emotional experience. I didn't know who these people were. I didn't know what I was watching. I just saw somebody posted on Instagram, "You got to see this unboxing," and I was like, "Well, let's go check it out." And I watched the first one on the replay, and then I caught the second night live, and it was just amazing. It was incredible. And I was instantly like, I gotta get to know these people because this I gotta know if this is staged. I gotta know if this is real. Like, what is happening? And it underscored that concept of kindness, just of absolute like generosity, right?
So I got a story to tell as well, and this includes John a little bit. So he mentioned Steve Whiting. And Steve Whiting, he was like one of my viewers before he was friends with all you guys. Okay, and Steve Whiting, people all know this. He sent me a Hulk 181, and he didn't have it. He went out and bought it, spent thousands of dollars and bought it and sent it to me. But now since then, he made friends with all you people, so he just sends you stuff instead. So I only had it for a really small window, but during that window, I was like, damn, that's pretty cool. Okay. And then fast forward to the year before, me and Steve Whiting are sharing a hotel room in Florida. And he's like, I got this A-OK for John. He goes, you want to see it? I go, sure. And so he picks it out. And was it Avengers 1?
It was an Avengers 1.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Avengers 1. Even I know it, yeah.
It was an Avengers 1, but it was like a purple label or something.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and goes, do you think John's going to want this? And there was a slight hesitation in my voice, like, he's probably not going to want it. Maybe I'll take it. But,
pass it along. Pass it along.
It was so good. It was so good.
I dropped the link for the original Thanatos A-OK from TJ. It's called Part 1, and you can find the Part 2 if you just like go to the next live stream on that channel. But it is if you guys are looking for kindness captured, like it is, that's it. That's this community for me.
Right. And I had a similar experience too with Matt Woods and Anachronic Comics, right? They a couple years ago, and this was just after the divorce and everything, and just having a really not a bad year, but just transitional.
Yeah. And
they came up and met me for my birthday. Like they both drove up. And when they got here, I met them at the hotel they're at. First person I see is, Joe from Anachronic Comics coming out, arms wide, ball of energy, greeting me, hello. Him and Matt Woods, Joe greeting me, a bundle of comics, original art that he drew of me and my channel, which was amazing. And Matt Woods with, there was a Conan book I had always been chasing, and I had come to terms with I wasn't going to have it in my collection because it had outpriced itself for me. And that was Savage Tales 1.
Yep.
Matt Woods drove it up from Pennsylvania to give it to me personally. And him and Joe just came up, and to this day, it's still one of the very best highlights, not only of kindness, but just influences for me, right? Just these two guys made a special trip up, made one of the highlights for me personally of my entire year. And just got to spend time with them. We sat down in that hotel lobby. We didn't even go anywhere. We just sat there and talked and bullshitted for hours. It was like meeting friends that you'd always had, and just a great. I mean, the conversation didn't stop for a second. Just like we were catching up from like 40 years before or something. You know, it was just flowing. It was just. It's still a treasured experience for me.
And what an example to set for you as far as what this community could be, right?
Yep.
Right.
So I have a question for you guys, and actually I'm going to ask for your guys' advice. And since we're talking about AOK, so right now my collection of books that I have, majority of the stuff I have left, because I sold most of that stuff when I started traveling, is AOKs or stuff like that have been, and a few other ones, but for the most part, that's what it is. All of that stuff is sitting in a storage unit in Portland and just sitting there. And it kind of drives me a little nuts that it does just sit there. The reason I bring this up is because, and I said this on my video a couple weeks ago, but I'm retiring from doing comic book YouTube next year and leaving the comic book scene as far as YouTube next summer. And I'm turning the page, pun intended, on my comic book collecting and all that stuff. Now I've debated on, you know, the stuff that I have left. Should I sell that stuff that was given to me or whatever? Should I hang on to it? And the main thing I have a problem is it's literally sitting in the storage unit. And like I got, I gave a friend of mine. He was a big Punisher fan, and he was having a hard time, and I wanted to do something special, so I gave him my copy of ASM 129. And I was like, dude, I go, it's just sitting in my storage unit, man. It's not doing nothing. I go, I'd rather have you enjoy it than have it in a random storage unit doing nothing for God knows how long.
Right.
And with all the stuff I have left, I kind of look at it like, should I like have a liquidation sale and get rid of it for like really cheap prices and stuff or whatever? It's just kind of something I've looked at. I mean, because it's like there's like 8 boxes of comics, okay, and they're just sitting there. And if I send out like individually AOKs, that's not realistic and stuff, you know. That's a lot of things. But if I bundle them together and do some kind of sale or whatnot, that's a little bit more, because like when I did my sale before, I mean, I literally had people buy short boxes full of books, you know, and stuff. So I kind of run into that problem what to do, because it is something that is going to come to an end next year. I'm okay with like setting this aside, moving on, you know, this new chapter in my life, and fully embracing that and letting go so it doesn't affect me or whatnot. Plus, like I said, I travel now, so it's like I don't keep stuff with me. It just sits there doing nothing.
I've never met someone who gave items in an AOK who felt ownership to where it went after that.
Right.
So if there's a guilt element to this, that you're feeling like I have a responsibility to keep them in my possession, that doesn't exist. I've never met that person. Even TJ, who's given me some incredible books, is like, if you're in a bind and you need money, sell the book. Like it's a piece of paper and it's yours. It's your ownership now. The other side is, I mean, obviously, if you want to make something of those, meaning like you want to create something in the realm of kindness with those books, that's an incredible opportunity. And I'm sure all on this panel and all of your fans would be happy to help you in some regard, whether that was like gifting it for you on, you know, paying I would happily pay the shipping to send it out to people for you.
Yeah.
I
Just
would
so
keep 10% commission, but like other than that, like I'm
is John petitioning to get my Hulk 181. That's what
John's always got an angle.
it's me first, Bueller. That's how this whole thing works.
I don't know if I could give you advice on that, because I think when the time is right for you to do what you want to do with it, it's going to hit you.
They're your books.
It's
They're
going
your
to be
books,
like
Taylor,
inspiration in
and
the
I'm
moment.
I mean, there's a lot of books that I have that are like from creators that have sent to me and signed them for me and stuff like that. I have a lot of stuff that's signed, you know, like because I've had.
If they help with your new endeavor, do it.
Yeah,
That's
that's kind of the thing I look at. The new endeavor is, it's gonna, it's something different. So maybe I need a little bit of.
And that's the thing, like having the money to fuel that endeavor. Like, you should. If it's going to enrich your experience, those
Big
people
time.
who gifted it to you would feel blessed to have been a part of that.
Absolutely.
There's no way Steve Whiting would look at that as anything but a success.
Yeah,
exactly. It's funny because I remember there was a moment, and with that Hulk 181, and I was like, maybe I should sell this and donate some of the money to Jen. And this was a while ago when this kind of first came on, but I didn't know exactly how I felt about that. So I messaged Steve. I said, Steve,
I know what he said.
I'm thinking about doing this, but here's the thing. I want to give you the opportunity to take it back. And I want to let you know that you can have it back if you want it. And Steve's like, no, man, I don't want it. It's yours. You can do whatever you want with it.
Yep.
And it never came of anything. I never ended up selling it or nothing like that. It's still, unfortunately, sitting in the storage unit in Portland. But I remember that conversation. That was a hard conversation to have. I didn't really know how to approach him with it. And one of my good friends got really drunk over the night when we were hanging out, and he kind of gave me shit about it and stuff, and we're like, what the hell? And so thank you, my good friend. But Steve was like, you can do what you want with it. That's cool. And and like I said, I never did end up selling it. This is a while ago, and I still have. But it's kind of one of those things. Like, maybe I should check. Maybe I should just say, hey, Robert, or hey, John. And
that just feels. I think that is honestly unnecessary, and that's the beauty of the AOK. I think it's something we would probably take and feel as the gift getter.
Keeps giving,
but as the gift giver has is happy just for whatever it encourages or gives to the next person. And if it enabled you to have this incredible next endeavor,
big time.
Well,
it's perfection.
And I just had this come up with my best friend, right? He goes, hey, I had bought something and gave it to him a while ago, and it was just regular price when I bought it, right? But it's gone up a lot since then. It was a pop that really went off, and I was, that's worth a lot of money now. I'm like, dude, sell it. I'm like, don't keep it because of me.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
If you can make a good profit on it and it helps you guys, and it helps you out, move it.
It's funny because Travis and you, what you're saying is, like, I've had my buddies call me and ask me, hey, Robert, do you mind if I sell your OK? I'm like, it's your book. Right? Do what makes you happy. It's okay. That's why I gave it to you.
Right. And if you could sell it and it helps you out in a tight spot, get rid of it. I'd rather you get helped out in a tight spot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, exactly.
Travis, maybe keep the ones that have become a part of you.
Yeah.
And to be rid of them would be like tearing part of you away.
Yeah,
exactly. We all have a couple of those in our.
There'll be a few of those, but otherwise, yes, like John said and the other said, and the people who've given you those books likely won't mind that you let them go, but the ones that have a special significance to you, and keep them for now. Maybe at one point you can let them go, but
I'm okay with letting them go. And not all of them are, as far as money wise go. There's like even the ones that really don't have any monetary value. It's like, I have the memory, of them, and the memory is all I need and stuff right now. It's not like I'm as you guys probably noticed, I'm not really a possession guy. Everything I own, I'm sitting around right now, in a small, 10-foot square bus. And
the guy who lives in a van is not big on possessions? What?
Besides this and a 5x5 storage unit in Portland, that's it. That's all I got. So as far as like possessions, it's not really a thing. It's the memories, the moments I hold on to. So it's like my first comic book that my mom bought me, which is a $5 comic. That's like the only one that I would probably like. I'm going to hold on to this. Yeah. But the rest of them, God, I would just feel a lot better if someone else got to enjoy them. And like I said, having them just sitting in the storage unit, just sitting there, for the last almost going on 3 years now. It's like, what? Nobody's enjoying these. Robert can enjoy whatever the Spider-Man 101, whatever that was. Robert will enjoy that more than I do. Okay?
It still sits on my wall. It's on my wall. Everybody can come in and see it.
Flip that. Would you be upset if Robert in a pinch sold it? It wouldn't affect you, right?
Oh hell yeah! No, I'd never talk to Robert.
I literally cried when I opened that day. I couldn't believe it. That was so wonderful. I was like, I don't believe this guy did this. And it sits on my wall. I've got it sitting on the wall next to my German edition, the American edition. It's all sitting up there.
I really enjoyed the opportunity to send that to Robert, and I really enjoyed the opportunity to send that ASM 129 to my buddy John Spelios. But one of the things that is still something really kind of, I'm just kind of, I guess if you want to call me bragging, you can do that. But obviously in the bus draws attention. Okay.
Yep.
People will see the bus, wherever it is. If I'm at a campsite, people come up to me, oh, hey, what's this? And they ask me questions and stuff, So there's not a lot of anonymity. Is that am I saying that right?
Yep.
When you're driving around in a bus that says comic books and has all these design on it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So there was one time, I can't remember what state it was, but I was at a gas station pumping my gas, and this guy pulls up and he's looking at the bus, and it's this same look I always get, and he's like, oh, what's this? And I go, oh, it's just I kind of work in the comic book industry. I'm kind of like a traveling ambassador that promotes comics and stuff like that. So I start talking to the guy, and he doesn't know Comics with Bueller. He said, oh yeah, I used to like comics, and stuff like that. I still have some McFarlane toys. I was always a big McFarlane fan. He actually showed me a picture on his phone of some of his toys he has on the wall, but he hasn't really done comics. He goes, oh yeah. He goes, I think I still have some Spawn comics, but I never had issue number 1 and stuff. And I go, okay. I go, can you just wait there a minute? And so he's pumping his gas, and I walk into the bus, and under my seat I have some of the books, and I have a Spawn number 1, and I walk out, and I said, here you go.
He didn't know what to do. He's like, what?
And he looked at me like, what? I go, you can have it. He goes, I haven't seen this book since 1992. I go, well, today's your lucky day, man. I go,
it's cool.
And that was just a moment I had the opportunity to do something kind that didn't have anything to do with doing comic book YouTube or nothing like that. Yeah. He didn't know who I was. I didn't know who he was. But it was like that moment right there, man. I remember driving away from there like, oh God, that felt really good.
And
yes, it did.
And,
he's going to remember that for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he will.
So I mean, besides that, and Spawn number 1 isn't a very spendy book. People pick it up for 15, 20 bucks, whatever it is now. I don't know, but it was just the opportunity to do something kind of cool for someone.
Right.
That one stands out for me so much because there was no videos involved. There was no. It was literally just a guy pumping his gas that was like, "Oh, what's this?" And he remembered his childhood and kind of got a little nostalgic and shared a moment with me, and I had the opportunity to kind of.
And he read that with a big smile on his face that night.
Yeah, so he probably sold it. Like, Screw that guy. No.
But there you go, Bueller. You could sell some of your books and get a new paint job for your next endeavor on the van.
Hey,
Oh hell no! I'm selling the van. I'm selling the bus, and I'm getting a new rig that is not as does not stand out. I am gonna enjoy my. I want to blend in a little bit
Incognito.
more.
Right?
I don't want people to know, because I've had people walk up to me. I'm sitting there naked, getting changed, and they're like knocking on the door, wondering what this is. I'm like, oh, can you get
really?
me? You know, and it's just like the whole. You know, it's just like, okay, I get it, but it's like if I go to a Walmart parking lot, man, and I park way far out just because, so I'm not close, but people will drive their car up to me and like start talking to me and stuff like that, and sometimes it's not a great conversation. I had one guy, he drove up to me. I'm sitting in this parking lot. And he's like, "Oh, you in the comics?" I go, "Yeah," you know. And he goes, "You know, I like those comics, but you know, ever since they turned Superman gay, I don't like him anymore." I'm like, oh my god, you know, I'm like, do I really have to have this conversation with this guy? Oh my god, that's the moment I wish my bus did not have any logos on it.
Yes.
Right.
Like that, I could just get in and drive away. But things like that happen. It's kind of because of the territory.
Of course.
So funny.
Right. Yeah, you get some of the crazy conversations you don't want to have.
No.
Oh, yeah. No, it's definitely, it was eye opening right off the bat. You know.
But Bueller, if you want some good conversations, you got to put G-Spot on the side of your van.
That's right.
That's inside the band, not
I
out.
mean, love machine. Then.
And the trick is, if you want people to leave you alone, you just put John's Comics with Kids on the side of it.
then people are like running in fear.
Yeah.
Don't put anything that says kids on the side of your bus. Okay?
No.
That's right.
That's a hard lesson to learn.
That one's scary.
What was that little video you did?
Yeah, I made a video of you trying to come by the house and talk to the girls in the Bueller van.
Yeah. Oh my god.
John was trying to get you canceled, huh?
Oh my god. Oh.
John's a sly one. You gotta watch out for those teachers.
Right behind me, right up above the bed. It says John's Comics with Kids. Right up above the bed.
Oh my god.
That way, whenever I have a lady here in the bus, man, that's the first thing she sees when she's going.
There you go.
Oh my god.
Guaranteed police calls.
They turn around and go, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." And I go, "It's some dude I know."
Wow.
Oh my goodness. But no, that was great. So I don't know. Does anybody else have anything else, or should we call it a wrap?
Big shout out to Jen.
Yes. So Bueller, Travis, let's make you big one more time and let you talk about Jen one more time before we end the stream and sign off, and just one more time for awareness.
Yeah. So Jen or Jennifer from Comics Will Break Your Heart. She's done YouTube. A lot of people here know her and spent time with her. She's a very close friend of mine. We live in the same town when I'm home, and we've spent many times together. She's been battling cancer for over a year. It's been a very hard road. It'd be nice to tell you that it's getting easier, but it's not. It's just the way it is. And she has a GoFundMe. The link is probably down below in the description. And a lot of people are making videos, including some of the gentlemen to the left of me. And if you're a content creator and you're making this, please make a video and kind of put the word out. And
That's you guys out there. Come on.
yeah, and I, you know, a lot of people like, oh, YouTube's all about, you know, getting clicks and all that stuff and making money. That's a bunch of BS, to be honest with you. You know, if you get the opportunity to do something good for someone, you do it. And like I said in my video I did, don't monetize it if you're monetized, because there's ads that will play during the video and it'll kind of break it up. The whole point of this is getting the message out. And if you can make a video that doesn't have any ads in it, people are going to watch more of it, because they're going to, you know, they're not going to click away as much. So please, if you are monetized, don't monetize the video. It's not very hard to do. It's literally just a little button.
Just a little button.
Right,
click.
and you actually have to go in to monetize it, so it's even easier to not monetize. You just don't hit that drop box.
Exactly. So please do me a favor. If you're making a video, please let me know, for one, because I am going to share them all. They're all on the playlist. There's a bunch of them on there already. We're going to try to get at least 100 videos, if not more, by fellow content creators. If you're not a content creator and thought about doing it, John's foray in the YouTube was making a horrible video about my giveaway. I mean, that's how he started. and go figure, here's John. He comes into comic book YouTube on the basis of getting something for free. Okay, that's why he's doing
videos that aren't
my opportunity to get something for free. So I'm going to press record on the camera and upload a video. He was just waiting for that. And now look at him,
So you could be way more altruistic, and your first video could be for somebody else.
There you go. So do the opposite. Do the opposite of what John did. And, and let's support our friend Jen. We all love her. You'll never hear a bad word said about her. She's amazing. And she's going to win this battle, and we're going to help her every step of the way. So I thank you guys all for watching this. And, really, I thank you so much to see just the support already, just less than 24 hours, re-energized again. That's exactly what I was going for. So thank you.
And everyone out there, we all have social media on various platforms. So share
Please
it.
donate, everybody.
Share it out there.
And I don't even care if your social media is on an adult website, because I know one of the guys here has a big presence on that site. Probably the guy at the top. So share wherever you want. No discrimination here. We're all open.
Right. But guys, first of all, I want to thank you guys for being on tonight. John, Robert, Gore, and Travis, thanks for jumping on. This was excellent. This is the programming I want out there. This is the imprint. This is the DNA I want to leave on my channel. This kind of stuff. Thank you guys for being on. Thank you for speaking nothing but positivity and kindness. Thank you for the stories you shared, and also thank you to the audience that's been watching us tonight. It really is really cool to be able to just get on here with 4 different people other than myself and just talk about the way that we've all been impacted by kindness in the community. So from me to you guys, thank you very much.
No, thank you, Gary. And to quote Lincoln on the second inaugural address, with malice towards none, charity for all.
Nice.
Nice. Gore,
Yeah,
nice.
I couldn't have pulled that off.
Nice, Gore.
That's Gore's amazing. He never ceases to amaze me. And guys, as I like to end these things, we're going to end with the brand. Please check out the link below. I also have these gentlemen's links in. Check them out. But go hit that GoFundMe link for Jen. We can't say it enough.
Please,
support somebody that's done nothing but support others in her life and shown kindness in her life, and show her that we're all good human beings at heart. So please go help her out, even if it's just sharing our videos and the GoFundMe page. Don't even share our videos. Share the GoFundMe page. Whatever you got to share. Just help her out. Thank you all so much.
We need you, community.
Everybody.
Help.
Yes.
Help.
And if you have a pundit, use it. And thank you. And if you don't know Jen, you can still make a video. It doesn't matter if you know her or not. You're just making a video to help. You don't have to know someone to help someone. All right. So that's it. Be kind. Thank you all so much. And as we like to end these things, keep it casual.
Bye.